So are you one of those people that maybe can relate to this? Maybe a little bit like me even, where you notice on Facebook and social media, Instagram, YouTube, people really post out there their highlight reels, and you see those highlight reels of all the wonderful thing people are doing. I have a friend of mine that's in Cabo this week, and I'm seeing his pictures with his wife and their ability to travel and go to this wonderful vacation. And I'm watching these beautiful pictures coming through, and they're having this amazing experience. And it's wonderful to see that. Sometimes I'm seeing people posting pictures of their children, doing all these wonderful, successful things. And I love seeing that people are doing well, and I love seeing that people, want to share those experiences, and kind of as if this picture of their lives is such a perfect, wonderful, amazing, picturesque, fantasy-like environment. And then there's the reality of our own situation, or my own situation. And I wonder if maybe you can relate to some of that, where I'd love for everybody to be able to look at me and say, see all the wonderful things, because I do. I have wonderful things in my life. There's no doubt about that. But there's also a lot of heaviness, a lot of difficulty, a lot of challenges that are faced in my life, and some of that surrounds things like just the simple fact that I'm a single dad. I am a single dad that has full custody of my now 16-year-old son, and there's no mother in the picture for him. There's not even any kind of co-parenting support, and that's not. I'm not trying to complain about that. I'm just kind of facing that reality of that situation. And sometimes I realize that the reality of that situation does create a lot of complexities. That although they're wonderful, amazing blessings that have occurred to get us to that point, there's a full gamut of challenges when you're a single parent. And if you're a single parent out there, and maybe you're facing some challenges as well, I want to be able to offer that you're not alone, especially for single dads. I don't think it's as common necessarily for single dads to face a lot of their challenges, necessarily alone. Typically in the court environment, the mother gets custody of the children, which was the case actually in my situation as well, until my children were old enough to make their own decisions. And as challenging and as amazing as that is, that they've reached that point, there's a lot of stuff that had to have happened for them to reach a point where I now have custody of him, and of my son, that is. And that's not an easy situation to face down. I've seen a couple other people kind of go through similar situations with their divorces and so forth. And I hope you're not facing a situation where your child is facing parental alienation of some kind, because it just drives a wedge into their hearts, and it's never okay really to have a situation where one parent is degrading or demeaning another parent. But unfortunately, it happens. It happens in the world, and it happens in children's lives, and it's unfortunate that children face that. But maybe you're looking for some encouragement and looking for somewhere where you can connect with people that are maybe going through something that you can connect to or relate to. Maybe you have another story that you want to write for yourself, and I certainly have a story that I'm in the process of rewriting the outcome of this story for myself and my children, because we've been through a lot over the last few years, and we're so used to a certain way of life, a certain type of almost constant confrontational situation, where that's now all behind us and we don't have to worry about that. And I want to help create a environment for discussion and conversation for people that are going through things, to help them see some common discussion points that we can share, encouragement, and just a connection in the community. So I'm going to post this, and I don't know if anybody's going to see it, and if you do, and you're interested in it and you like it, then feel free to message me. But life is not always filled of puppy dogs and unicorns, and even though we like to portray that it is, life offers a lot more dynamic environment for some people, and it's not always easy to talk about. A lot of my life is not easy to talk about. A lot of the things that occur in my life, a lot of things that have occurred in my children's lives, are not easy to talk about. We're talking about things like mental health considerations, certainly traumas, emotional, psychological traumas, and things like that. Not always things that are just so overwhelmingly, you'd think that there's like one smoking gun. No, it's a life of choices and decisions that are difficult to just put one thing behind. But there's patterns that if we can prevent those patterns, we can save children a lot of heartache and headache. By comparison, when you're dealing with something that's traumatizing to a child, and certainly going through divorce is traumatizing enough, but when there's other traumas and psychological traumas that are taking place throughout their lives, school bullying is another one. It's bullying that happens in school, and when you're dealing with that and trying to confront it, and then being supportive of it, there are all kinds of mental health considerations that are part of that as well. We need help. We all need help. There's a community that out here that is able to offer some assistance, but it's hard to find it. And I don't want anybody to feel as alone as I have felt over the last few years, because it is hard to talk about mental health. It is hard to talk about the challenges that we face as single parents, single dads particularly. I don't know, maybe single moms have. Seems that there's more commonality to single mothers and the supports that are offered out there for single mothers, but for single dads, we're expected to be able to do it all on our own, and that's not really possible. Single parenting is not what God intended. Being alone raising children is not what God intended for children, and it's tough for them, and we need to be able to find ways to support each other, and I want to be able to offer that. So that's part of why I'm recording this video. My name is John, and you are welcome to message me, and I will gladly receive and talk to anybody that is willing to have a conversation. As I see my friends in Cabo and they're posting their wonderful stories, I'm so glad to see that. I'm encouraged by that. Kind of gives me something fun to distract myself from some of the things that are going on in my life. And then I see a friend who unfortunately is going through cancer, and I see all the love that is pouring out for my friend that has a treatment program that they're going through, and I would never wish that for anybody to have to go through something like that. It's wonderful to see that love and that caring and support. But then as you're thinking about things like mental health issues, depression, anxiety, PTSD, it's a little more difficult to be willing to talk about or to open yourself up for those kinds of conversations and to have that engagement. And then it's a little harder for people to understand how to help. So there are resources that are out there. There are people that are going through a lot of things right now, particularly with the COVID world and the recovering of the shutdowns and the illnesses and everybody that I don't know anybody that has not known somebody that's been affected by that illness. Certainly we're all affected by the changes in our lives that are affected, that are part of this whole pandemic, and the shutdowns and the masking and the vaccinations and the discussions about vaccinations and the reasons not to get vaccinated, the reasons to get vaccinated. This is not a debate for that. What there is, however, is this sort of disconnectedness in our world, this disconnectedness in our social environments where people don't feel maybe necessarily supported and maybe not even sure what to do, and maybe they just don't even feel comfortable talking about it. And I want to be able to offer people a opportunity to talk about some things that might be a little uncomfortable, particularly for single dads, where it's not really easy to find some of the resources that are out there. And when it comes to mental health, we all need a little help with our mental health. I particularly, even myself, I deal with depression and anxiety, post-traumatic stress, and things that are actually, I suffer a lot of these things for my children as well, because I know some of the things that they have been through. And the divorce had a lot to do with that. So I can't say that I'm insulated from being part of the cause for that for them. But I also have to put that behind me and look for ways to be positive for them in my future. So that is a lot. This video got a little longer than I thought it was going to be. But again, I'm just here to offer some resource, and I hope maybe you'll find something in this blog, whether you're finding it on YouTube or wherever you might be finding it, where we might be able to have a discussion and let you know that there are resources in the area. I'm in the Williamsburg area, and there's going to be resources here in Williamsburg. I'm going to be looking to set up some additional resources, and I'm going to make myself available as much as I can on a basis where I'm here to offer some assistance when I can. I may not be able to help you completely, but if I can give you somebody that helps you know you're not alone, that's part of my objective here. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Look for those resources. Reach out to people when you need help. Don't let yourself get so overwhelmed that you can't keep going, because there's always a reason to keep going. God bless you.